So Denver, because right now Denver, man, they good, but I feel like they about a year off from being complete trash. So they need to get some picks and a little bit more depth. I feel like OKC the perfect squad for that. But we'll talk a little bit more about it.
Oh.
What happened?
Oh, never mind. I just heard I was gonna call Ro.
Damn.
I thought I heard somebody important. My screen. The resolution so bad. I thought they'd be with Garland at first.
Niggas like how Derrick White hit that mid range on Mike.
I ain't see the video.
Nigga, what was so funny? That man hit a 3 to tie that joint up with Steph. Then Boston called timeout, and they was just standing there. They inbound that hold of White, and the man just shot that joint and rolled in.
Ain't nothing topping what Bill did to me, man.
Oh no, ain't nothing topping it. That shit crazy. Imagine that shit happening in a playoff game.
Niggas running back and celebrating. Like I couldn't even stop it, bro. That's what made me the maddest. Is like I was trying to switch up to like guard the ball, bro, because they ain't had no more timeouts, but it wouldn't let me put niggas in their animation.
I hate when you post YouTube links now and group me. Them just don't really show the actual video no more. Niggas don't know what that junk could be. Nigga.
And they got no kind of description.
Bama was trying to be on that shit again. I had to smarten up on her.
Who?
Bama. Arkansas Arkansas the ones really being. So then Arkansas catch you the other one time and you had to
a couple seasons. Yeah, that was a couple seasons ago. I think like 2 or 3 seasons.
Them niggas be having some superpowers or something. I'm like, they weren't nearly as good as Bama.
It's like they play style. Hard to stop.
Mm-hmm. Games.
I'm trying the best to put together a Jonathan Isaac deal, but I got nothing. I couldn't come up with shit.
Yeah, Magic a hard team to deal with because of how they roster
they got
constructed,
everything, bro.
Yeah, they roster constructed. Like they really need shooters, but it's like if niggas got shooters, you gotta.
They don't want. I ain't giving them right. You don't want to give up no shooter, really. No, this joint.
Right. You don't want to give them like they don't need no bigs. They don't need no defenders. They don't need no guards.
Right.
Caught in this joint. I'm waiting on folks to
y'all
join.
can the brother talking all the time. Y'all ain't hear
Damn.
Yeah.
No, I didn't realize my mic was muted.
Let me go.
It made me smile to CK can make this trade with Orlando. I said, y'all give up Clay.
Nope, won't do it.
That's why I was like, if I had to do a Magic deal, it would have to be Bang.
I had to do a Magic deal. I know about it because
I gotta knock my games out, call out so I can give this Chase Brown nigga a gold badge.
Did you see my question, Diz? The J White?
Look.
He was talking about the gold badge, and he was like,
he saw that question. Call out. He wrote like 2 paragraphs.
I ain't look back at it, so that's on me then. I'm
gonna explain it on this joint too, though.
I ain't look at it. I ain't look at it.
I thought you put another. I thought Kyle put another question in there.
I put my joint back.
Alright. Alright, man. Pod. Alright. Let's go ahead and get this jump started, man. It's 10 minutes. We 3:10 then. So we got a mid-season pod, man. Mid-season pod. Niggas will catch up once they join up. But want to talk about a couple things in the league, man. We about 3 weeks in. We in week 3. Got Kalak on, got CK on, the Mavs and the Hornets. But we're gonna talk a little bit about some of the things that's going on with the league. Feel like games are being played for the most part, and things are looking pretty good overall in the league. What's y'all thoughts so far on how the progress has been going in the leagues and the schedule and everything? Kalak, CK.
I think it's been going well. I think now with the new format, it's taking some getting adjusted to for some people, but overall, I think it's been very healthy. I think it's putting everybody in a position to like knock out that game. They got a steady flow to it. Guys have plenty of time to knock out that game. He's getting crunch time. It's just like, guys, okay, let me go and get my game scheduled because I don't want to have a fourth loss or anything like that. So it's been good. It's been productive, and I think we're on the get better from here.
I was looking through the stands. I didn't realize Will was 0-13.
Good.
And one thing I also like, the computer is, harder this year. It seemed like it. The game itself is a little bit more difficult because it's not as easy to shoot. So you haven't been seeing a lot of crazy percentages, like we've seen in the past. I don't know if that will change over time as people get used to the game, but that's why you got sliders too. So, but I do think it's been realistic percentages. Like if you take a look at, we'll do a quick look at like the league leaders, and if you look at the top scores right now, I mean Steph shooting 36% from 3, Wemby shooting 32%, Harden 36%, Luka shooting 44%. You even got yours up, CK. Zach LaVine 45%, LaMelo 34%. I know if you look at my team, I think we only got one person shooting close to 40, and that's Wells. So I mean, it's a little bit more realistic. I mean, the last 2Ks we used to see 60%, 50% 3-point shooting. So I think it is good that it's a little bit more balanced this year on the shooting aspect. So I do enjoy that too, and we've been seeing a few computer losses here and there. So I think that's a positive outlook too, especially when we get to these playoffs with this new format. So do want to first thing I want to mention before we kind of talk about some of the kind of league scheduling expectations is I want to go through this badge progression and how that's going to work. So there's a rule in the that I released, or that we released, about if everybody is able to complete all 58 games, whether it's, or they can complete, let's say, I think it was 38 games or 36 games, 46 games, or 58, the full 58 games. There is a limit of badge progression that's provided for any player on their roster. And so, as you know, there's a requirement for everybody to play 6 games a week. There's 2 games against the computer, and then 4 games against users, and that equals for 4 weeks. That equals up about 24 games. So any users that play, you're not required to play more than that. But if you do, and you're trying to reach a threshold, whether that's the 36 game threshold for a bronze badge, 46 game threshold for a silver badge, or 58 game threshold for a gold badge, you do have an opportunity for that. And also, if you play all 58 games, you also get a potential upgrade too, which means you go from a B minus to a B, or from a B to a B plus, or from a B plus to an A minus. So that's another incentive there as well. But to explain how the badge progression, or how the badge add-on would work, we're still trying to determine the exact rating threshold for this. Assuming 80 is the baseline, because usually for you to get a badge in something, you have to at least be good at it from a rating perspective. And so so for instance, let's just use defense for example. And I'm looking at my roster now. So if you look at defense, for example, defense is you got defense defined by interior defense, you got perimeter defense, you got help defense IQ. All three of these type of attributes contribute to kind of how good a player is defensively overall. So for instance, let's just say I got Vince Williams. Vince Williams right now, he has a bronze on ball minutes. But this would apply. Now let's also say this. The player doesn't have to already have the badge. It's attribute based. So, even though Vince Williams already got this badge, I look at somebody like, let's say Cam Johnson. Cam Johnson doesn't have an on ball minutes badge. He does have slippery off ball or whatever, but that's an offensive badge. But let's say Cam Johnson, for instance, he got 75 perimeter defense. He got an 81 help defense IQ. So if we're talking about, okay, in order for him to get, if I play all 58 of my games and I'm like, okay, I want my gold badge to go towards Cam Johnson getting gold on ball minutes. Since he does have an 80 threshold in one of those categories, interior defense, perimeter defense, and help defense IQ, we can apply that gold badge to him. Now, Ja Morant, he got a 70 perimeter defense, 71 help defense IQ, and then of course his interior defense is a 45. So for Ja, I can't do that badge at all. I wouldn't be able to allocate that badge to Ja Morant at all. Now you can also allocate it to a player that already got it. Like I said, Vince Williams, he already has a bronze on ball minutes. But if I wanted to put that gold on him, I could do that too because he qualifies for it. So we can let's look at the Hornets, for example.
Is there a threshold if you don't if you're not getting the gold badge, if you're getting like a silver badge or
I think it will be the I would say it's the same apply. It's the same apply for whether it's bronze, silver, or gold. That's what I'll say.
It has to be at least 80.
Yep. Because really the way the roster is set up, the roster is kind of already set up where if these guys got most of them dance around 78, 79, but you got some that are 80. But the way the roster is set up, majority of these guys are kind of already in a place where they should be able to develop these badges in some shape or form. So that's why I say 80 could be the threshold. Like I said, it's we can look at it and see if we want to do like 78 instead of 80, but I think 80 being the threshold will make it a bit easier to kind of apply to all areas on this on all attributes basically. Because even if we're not looking at defense, let's look at shooting, for example. I'm on Carlock roster right now. So if we're looking at shooting, for example, let's take, I know Brandon Miller hurt right now, but he basically an 80 3-point. Now I know there's other shooting, so he got bronze set shot specialist right now. He could easily get gold because he has a 80 3-point rating right now. Also, when it comes to so we're talking about shooting, you can also factor in mid-range here. You got mid-range and 3-point. So if a guy may have like you really don't have nobody like them. See if you got anybody like this, CK. So Najee Marshall, for example, he got a 79 mid-range right now. And that's why I said it's kind of, we're going to have to kind of talk about it. He got a 79 mid-range and a 75 3-ball. And he's a 3-and-D threat. He could qualify, essentially, if we say, okay, if as long as it's a 78 or higher or a 79 or higher, he could qualify to get that badge too. Just because shooting the mid-range and the 3-point, in a sense, go hand in hand. Now, if a guy got 80, mid range, but he got like a 63 ball, he could still get that shooting badge because it will still qualify. But I still wouldn't expect a guy with a 63 ball or a 65 3 ball to be knocking him down with a gold badge. That's when the ratings do play a factor too. So I think it's all about the user and being a little smart with how you apply it. I think the main thing is we just have to agree on a threshold to use for it. But I think regardless, whether you play your 36 games, 46 games for the silver, 36 for the bronze, or all 58 for the gold, the same threshold will apply to simplify it.
Okay.
So that's what I would say for it. Y'all got anything else? While we on this, because I want to go over a little bit. Let's see. For instance, we also got rebounding. Rebounding. You got your offensive rebounding and your defensive rebounding. This all kind of goes hand in hand. So as long as that defensive or offensive is at an 80 threshold, like I said, 80 is just the baseline right now. Then that player is eligible for the badge upgrade in a rebounding sense. Now this also excludes any other, so it's in the rules, the docs that I put in the group me that's pinned. It's in the rules what badges are excluded already. So there are certain badges you can't even get, like rebound chaser. I think is one of them badges that's excluded from the game, so or excluded from the league. So that's like a badge you wouldn't be able to get. But same thing with steals, all this. So just kind of think about it. If you talk about let's see, what's one of the passing badges, man? Because I wanted to go and we did a shooting, we did a defensive, we talked a little about rebounding. Let me look at this passing. So for instance, Lonzo Ball, he got like gold dimer, gold break starter. He has 88 pass accuracy. So of course in passing, you will have, you got pass IQ, pass accuracy, and pass vision. All these things play a part in your passing upgrades. So 80 would be that threshold on all those too. Yeah, pass accuracy, pass IQ, pass vision. Because if you look at it like that, the upgrade should make sense at that point, I think, for the most part. So that's what I say on that. Y'all got anything from that? Like I said, yeah, like I said, we can 80 is not like the all be all number, but I do think that probably gives a easier threshold for guys. And these, people are going to progress. So even if a guy may not get it this year, a guy may be an 80 next year, and you can apply it to a guy next year, But I think it's up to the user just to be smart on how they want to upgrade their players. Just be, just got to be smart on it. And same things with the potential. So if you play all 58 and you get that potential upgrade, just kind of being smart on that, because I don't want to really, but you don't want to, don't upgrade a guy that's 35 potential. Like, you may want to be you want to be a little strategic on how that may look, for your squad too moving forward. Because the whole thing about this league is we trying to, play 4 or 5 seasons or whatnot. So that's how that's gonna work if users play their games. Like I don't expect everybody to get to 58, but I do think some users are gonna get there. But even if you don't, and you get to the 36, 46, same logic will apply on the bronze and the silver badges. Other thing, what's the other thing? Other thing is the scheduling. So I know we talked about, we got these schedules that come out each week, and everybody's been doing a great job getting their games in. I think all of the week 2 games are done. I know me and Carla got 1 game left, but I think outside of that, and then Spurs got like a Celtics game, which I think that's going to get seen. But for the most part, if so happen you don't get a chance to play your games at all, like your game for that particular week, and we get to the point where we're at playoff time, the game still ain't played, those games will get The computer games will end up being a what did we agree to on that, y'all? Remind me, was it a loss?
Yes, a loss.
Yeah, the computer games. So if you got these, there's 4 computer teams: Denver, OKC, Boston, and Phoenix. If those games aren't played, because those are really the easiest ones to get done. If those games ain't played, those are forced L's. The user games, of course, if they roll over, ideally we don't want them to roll over, but if they do, you understand. And the main thing is just trying to get them complete, so both users can knock those games out.
If they roll over, you got to deal with me.
Right.
No, you don't want that.
So CK is in charge of the scheduling. So if he reach out to you, then that means it's gonna be, you already know what it is. So so hopefully everybody, everything's going smooth right now. I think everybody doing a great job, trying to get the games in, especially considering we had holidays and stuff like that too. So that's probably gonna be like the busiest time for everybody around this time frame. So I think everybody did a really great job on that, man, especially with the new schedule and stuff. The other aspect, the trades. So, everybody gets 2 trades a year. I don't think only who's all made 2 trades. I know. So Carlock, Mike, and who else made? And I think that's it. I think Carlock and Mike are the only 2 that made 2 trades so far. And then I know I made 1, BHB made 1, CK made 1, J Rock made 1.
I did.
Yeah. And then but that's about it. And so everybody got 2 trades, a year. That rolls into the off season. And so there are trade candidates out there. That don't mean they're the only people you can trade for. I wanted to make sure that was understood too. That's just a list of guys that I think we all felt, the commissioners felt, these guys were either getting stale on some of these rosters and needed to be moved. Most of these guys are either like veteran guys, like you got Wiggins in Portland and you still got Jeremy Grant in Portland, and these guys just don't really fit with this young group. You look at who I think is already probably out the door as we speak, Kyrie in Chicago. That just don't really make sense there for their rebuilding squad. So really that list was just to give users a chance at going after players who still the deal has to make sense or whatever. But just making sure that y'all had an opportunity to get those guys first before these guys may move to a computer team or whatnot. So that's what that is. Don't mean those are the only guys available for trade. All guys pretty much are available in some sense. But it's not that easy making deals on here either with the 2-team trades and stuff. So that's just another story for 2K. All right. So all that, I think that's just the business stuff. Y'all got anything before we switch gears to let's talk about some of these awards and stuff like that? Call on.
I'm
CK.
good.
Come. All right. Awards. We'll start there for right now. So right now, of course, this is we see this all the time, and honestly, I can't even front because Wemby doing this in real life now. Wemby's of course number 1 in the MVP race right now. You got Wemby, Jokic, Giannis, Luka, Ja as your top 5 right now, which none of these really are surprising per se. Rookie of the year, you got Zach Edey, you got Dink, you got Big Dink from Charlotte, you got Alex R, Bub Carrington in Washington, and then you got Buzelis in Chicago. What I do like is you ain't seeing nothing too crazy on here yet. I don't know how it will be in year 2, 3, but right now these numbers ain't blowing nobody out the water. 6th man of the year, you got Drummond. For those joining now, if you can go back and hear the other stuff too. because that'll kind of play a key part in all this stuff towards the end of the year for progression and stuff. But six man, you got Drummond, T.J. McConnell, Jalen Johnson, Marcus Sasser. Okay, J Rock, and Nas Reed. So no big numbers there. Defensive player of the year, you got Wemby, Jaren, AD. Look at Mark Williams. You got Mark Williams up here.
Mark Williams.
Mark Williams, and then you got Rudy Gobert. Most improved, Wemby, Cade, Jaden Ivey. Now, it's Pistons all over this most improved, J-Rock. Cade, Ivey, Sasser, and then you got Kessler at 5. And I don't know how they define this key or clutch player of the year, but you got Jaylen Brown, James Harden. How BHB get James Harden up here? And you got Giannis, Dame, and SGA. So far the awards look pretty smooth right now, man. Y'all got anything on these awards right now before we switch gears to the we're gonna talk a little bit about these the playoffs, the upcoming playoffs and stuff.
No, actually the awards don't really I don't really see any surprising names. The usual suspects, except for fucking Mark Williams.
Watch your mouth.
Fucking decoy combo.
Mark Williams out here dominating that paint. I like it, Colin. 2.3 block. He ain't really doing much. I mean, it's the rebounds. He got 12.4 rebound. He rebounding shit out that ball.
Shout out to them Rockets. You know all about Mark Williams.
Let me see what happened in that game. Let me see.
I mean, he won both with Mark, but he didn't like Mark Williams.
6 and 14 in one game, and then 12 and 10 in the other game. 6 turnovers. Ooh. Like, who is this,
Williams?
6 turnovers. Man, Houston was moving them hands like that. Damn, you had 22 boards on New Orleans. That's what he did. 26 and 22 and 6 blocks.
Okay.
Man.
He had his moment.
22 and 20 against the Lakers. Okay, so 2 20-20 games so far for Mark. Okay, at 23 years old, that's scary. Call out 24 board game too. Okay. What you gonna try, boy? Also, well, one other thing, y'all. I didn't even never mention this, but the draft is up. The players that's in the draft is on here. I don't think we ever even said anything, but I think these were uploaded like a couple days after the league started. So you got all your guys, your Cooper Flags and your Ace Baileys and your Dylan Harpers and all them guys. They all in here. So if you gotta do your scouting, definitely do that. For the most part, you know, that is what it is. That ain't no different than how it usually is on the previous 2Ks. Also, we already know about this new playoff format. So right now, I think only users, I gotta look at it from this playoff picture. The only users right now who aren't in the playoffs,
Carlock and Will.
Yep. So Carlock is third to last right now, record wise, and well, Will is really last because he's 0-13.
One thing about Will, I say this, he only gonna stay last. He play out. I don't know what his Sims.
Yeah, that's true too. That's true. Because it is just a straight up sim. So Will could get his way into these playoffs somehow.
I can't imagine the Wizards winning too many games in the sim.
Yeah, not too many games, but still not 0-13.
Yeah, because he on pace for, he played all his like his scheduled games. So if he go 0-24, then if he go 0-24, then that means out of them 34 games, he'll need to win about 25 of them, just 26 of them 34 in Sims. I don't know, because that's including. Yeah, I don't really know. I don't know if that's gonna happen, but yeah, them Hornets. Shout out to them Hornets, man. Y'all got y'all leading right now with 16 games left. I don't even think any Because seeing some of those computer games, I don't think even the computers ahead. Yeah, the lowest computer team is 18 games left. So Hornets, y'all definitely on pace to finish that. What'd you say, Carlo?
2 games a day.
Keep the doctor away.
Yeah.
2 games a day.
Yeah, 2 games a day is a solid strategy because I mean, we in week 3 now, and week 4 next week. Assuming we'll probably have a little lag in there or so to make sure everybody caught up probably. But we close to the playoff time, real close to the playoff time, and like we talked earlier, I think we had the pod when this jump first started. Playoffs gonna be different, a much different format. Not only do we got the top 16 teams, but also much shorter series, and so don't want nobody to get caught, thinking that they down 1-0 and they ain't really worried, and then the best of 3 get them, and they lost in 2 games. Them first 2 rounds are going to be extremely short. They're best of 3 series, so that makes it a little bit more excitement. And also, to get through those first rounds pretty quick. And then the last 2 rounds will be best of 5. So I think that'll make for a much quicker playoff. But it'll also make for, I think, some more exciting games too, without it being extended so deep into a 7-game series. So far right now, Philly is they 21-10, Grizz we 28-1, Boston 25-15, Houston 24-5, Dallas 15-2. You got a lot of teams that are Denver's 23-16 right now, New Orleans is 21-14. So we're looking at these top teams. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, so the top 8 right now, Golden State is last in that top 8. So Golden State meets that cutoff. Detroit is right there too. They 11-17 right now, so they have a chance at pushing, getting in. Sacramento, they 12-8. They have a chance definitely to be in there too. But if Warriors, Kings, Detroit, if they end up being somewhere in that bottom 4 or 6, you may end up getting a user first round matchup too, potentially.
The Hornets sneak in there.
Hornets actually could get in there. I think them Hornets can sneak in there. What if we give you an extra trade call out? Would that give you some firepower?
It's in the paperwork. I need it right.
Yeah, that'll put you got 16 games left. If you win 14 in the next 16, you can get it, man.
Trade.
We'll give you an extra trade in the off season. You win 14 next 16.
Bro, don't give me no. I need it in writing. You give me.
You got on wax. Call out. This is better than writing. You got on
video. Right. You can go back to the broadcast on this. I think them Hornets got enough in them, but I understand too that y'all are a rebuilding squad, so I understand where y'all at.
I'm gonna be honest with y'all, man. I don't think people, like with the shooting automatically being a challenge in the game, and for one, and I have had real injuries. Like Brandon Miller, this is his 2nd time going down. Ella has went down. Hayes went down. I had a freak injury the other night. I think it was against the Knicks. Where I lost my backup center for the season. He's out for like 14 games.
Whoa.
So that was a real. You know what I'm saying? Like, so it's these things are actually playing into a team very realistic. The shooting percentages are very low compared to what we're used to, but I like the realism of the game. As far as just, I know for a fact if I take a shot with Dean Payne and I make a 3, I might not make the next one. Same with Brandon Miller, LaMelo. So having to understand how to make the right plays, can't make a lot of mistakes. Kind of like playing a good team in college football. I mean, I can't turn the ball over too much. It might hurt me. And these losses are real ass losses. Like this is like, nigga, we struggling. But it let me know how I want to build my team in the future around my core guys. So I'm actually enjoying it.
I feel you. And you look at these team stats right now. I mean, the field goal percentages are crazy. Like, you only got 5 teams shooting above 50% from the field. Mavs 57, Grizz 55, Pistons 54, Spurs 54, and Rockets 52. And really, and then if you look at Pistons, Spurs, and Rockets, they're shooting only 3-point attempts. They're averaging 21 3-point attempts. Mavs are averaging 35, Grizz averaging 33.
Damn.
We letting them hoes ride, but we ain't making them all. I mean, we shooting 33% from 3. But a lot of that too is early on. It's just it's tough. Like, it's just tough to shoot on here, and you have to really you gotta have good shooters, and then you gotta have because like only person that's got like a elite shooting range, like an 85 or better, is Bane. And I think, you got CK, you got Levine and Clay. That's up there. At least Clay. And Luka maybe.
Levine like an 80.
And what's Luka on here? Luka like a
87.
Yeah, so I mean, it makes sense that you are
badges though.
Yeah, plus the badges. I mean, if you look at these top 3-point shooting teams, it's the Mavs, and then it's computer teams. It's Mavs at 43, Celtics 38%, Pelicans 37%, Pacers 37%. So it's definitely a challenge on here, which is welcome, and I think it makes it a little bit more competitive, and that's needed for a game like this. But yeah, I think these playoffs, man. What are y'all excited about for these playoffs?
Out to the playoffs, man.
Excited for the short series, man. First round. I want to see somebody get upset.
I want to see them Spurs make it. Them Spurs should be returning soon. They 11-13 right now. So
I want to see them Spurs though.
See Wemby in that junk. I want to see Wemby up in there.
5 power forward with 5 speed out there.
But he be pushing that jump with that man. Man don't got no type of skill. It's just he just run that hoe with the
fast.
But yeah, right now, I mean, looking at the outside, they got most of these teams on the outside right now are several games below 500. So, LA's pushing to get in. They 500 right now, 17-17. They'll probably end up making an impact deal too. That's gonna make them even better. Detroit, which is J-Rock. I think J-Rock is starting to get things together. I know he took a lot of his early losses when he first started playing, and he seemed like he's starting to kind of get a hold of things. I do think Keith is going to eventually make it when he starts running games off. Phoenix is probably going to make it too. So I think some of these teams that's currently in there now, like the Knicks are, which are surprising, they 12-18. Knicks may or may not make it. But the Pelicans are cold. Cleveland is 500 right now. Miami's 500. So a lot of these 500 teams. J-Rock said Cade out for 10 games. Damn. When then?
Trying to run?
Let's see. He got that strained hip. You can still play him though, J-Rock. It's just that hip gonna be.
I'm going right at the hip.
That hip gonna be moved. What's his speed went down to? His speed -3. Ugh.
We're going right at him, J-Rock.
But yeah, I think overall, solid year one so far, man. Trade deadline is Sunday. I don't know if we got a particular time for that or not. Oh yeah, we have to talk about extensions too.
5
You want?
normal. I say 5 p.m. That's normal.
5 p.m.
No,
Okay.
it's 2 p.m. NBA is 2 p.m.
Okay. So Sunday, 2 p.m. trade deadline. Sunday, 2 p.m. trade deadline. So we're like Dr. Umar. Sunday, 2 p.m. trade deadline. Sunday, 2 p.m. trade deadline. So that'll be that. Extensions too. So a little bit on extensions, and that'll be it for me. Extensions, we kind of did this last year where, if you don't want your player, if you got a guy on your team, and let's just say this guy got, because you can get extended, guys get extended when they have at least an extra year on that contract too. So let's say, for instance, like right now, I'm gonna actually ask Kyle to extend this dude right now for me. For instance, Jaren Jackson.
Nope, not doing it.
he got this year and next year, but he could be considered eligible for an extension now. But for the most part, if a guy let's just say this guy got 1 year left. So for instance, Santi Aldama got 1 year left. If you want to extend this guy, they need to be extended before the playoffs. Before the playoffs start. So if you don't want this guy, if whether they're unrestricted or restricted free agents, they can you can extend them before the playoffs, and that'll keep you from having to worry about this guy being taken by somebody in free agency. If you want to make sure that your dude is already on your team, so you can focus on, you know, other free agents or whatnot in the off season, you can do that. But also, no, if you extend a guy, you can't just up and trade that guy the next year. You know, like if you extend a guy, so also, you know, be mindful of that, because if a guy rolls into a free agency and you keep him, that'll be a little bit different. You know, that's kind of how it's looked at. Extension though, if you extending the guy early, you can't just extend the guy to keep him from everybody and then decide you want to move him somewhere later. You know, I think the extensions kind of give the guy some type of priority to stay on your own roster. And so I think the old rule used to be, this is just the old rule. I don't know if this is already in the rules or not, but the old rule used to be you had to keep the guy for, was it a full season?
Yeah, a full season and off season.
Yeah, full season and off season. So if I say I want to extend Santi Aldama, I got to keep him all next season and then all through the following off season. And then when we get into year 3, we in year 1 now, so when we get into year 3, he'll be trade eligible, basically. So that at least shows some commitment to the guy you extended. If I let him roll into the free agency and I say I don't want to extend him, but I end up keeping him, you know, I think that guy has a little bit more flexibility, but we can confirm that, you know, when, you know, we got to still kind of confirm that and talk about it. I think that's just something we ain't really got to talk about yet.
For example, because I want to, why people are listening, it's different. Like I said, if you're a extended player, like with the year full off season, I think that's standard. But if it's a free agent, let's just say, for example, if we just say Dez, I'm going to agree. Dez signed Santi Aldama to a deal in free agency. Right? Mm-hmm. He signs him to a, just say, 2-year deal, 3-year deal, 3-year deal. Not that's saying you keeping him, but obviously you let him hit free agent, you had a chance to extend. It's probably like, I'm probably going to use him either on the team or for a deal later on. I look at those, and it makes more sense to look at those more for like a sign and trade. Extending trades almost never happen. Signing trades happen all the time. So a free agent that is signed and then traded is a lot more likely than a player who's extended and traded. Most times you're traded then extended, not extended then traded. So signing trades are normal. Extending trades are completely non-existent. So that's why I think that makes more sense. I don't really, if you ain't signing no player no 4 years, like I don't want nobody to sign, like, okay, you let, just say Jay Huff hit a free agent, he's 73, put him in a 4-year deal. 73, he don't need to be on nobody's team that long. But a guy like Santi Aldama, who's 77 and 24, most likely he's going to stay a 77 and probably go to at least a 78, 79, maybe even an 80 over the next 3 seasons. So any team you trade him to, that player is likely to improve over time. Versus a guy that you signed is 29, 30 years old, he ain't nothing but a 75, 76. If you want to give him a 3-year, $15, $20 million contract, I'm going to look at you crazy if you try to trade. You know what I'm saying? Unless you're attaching something to him of value. But, you know, that's how those things, I think, work. And would it make more sense across the league?
Yeah, I agree with that. So basically, sign and trade are looked at as if the guy goes into free agency hits the free agent market, you keep him, and you know, you like, okay, I want to use this guy in a deal, I'm gonna keep him and try to use this guy in a deal. So that's kind of why we turned off this trade rule thing, because it used to be where, you know, if you turn it on, then you they still keep you from trading the guy in the following season too. So this kind of gives users a little bit more flexibility too. So like somebody like Span, you got Fox. He ain't a free agent this year, but he got an expiring next year. But if you want to extend him, most likely you're gonna probably keep Fox long term. But if you decide to let him roll off the books, he will be unrestricted though. And also, you know, making sure unrestricted and restricted are two different things. You know, restricted, I think this John is on. No, this John ain't on here, but I thought they had like the explanation on the game. But restricted is, of course, guys that, you know, you have the bird rights to the guy, and so if a team tries to get him or sign him, you can always match that offer. Most of these guys will be guys coming off rookie deals. So Keegan Murray, for example, he'll be coming off a rookie deal, so he should be a restricted guy. Looking at my team, Santi Aldama, restricted guy, so I can match any offer for him. But if you got a guy like, let's say, James Harden, who's on the Rockets, he got a player option next year, so he's unrestricted. A guy can go in and offer him, and ain't nothing the Rockets can do. Maybe the Rockets can offer more money. But also to talk about the player options, somebody like Harden, who got a player option next year, you can opt to wait on that player option, or you can extend that guy now too. But if that guy leaves and opts out, it ain't really nothing can be done about that. You know, like that's just a decision on the user itself. But, you know, we most likely gonna have another pod, you know, sometime around either before playoff time, during playoff time, or something like that too. And these will kind of be some follow-ups too, you know. So I think for the most part, man, we went over majority everything. Is there anything anybody got? CK, you got anything to add on the scheduling? You got anything to add on anything else?
No, not this time. I'm enjoying seeing the games, people talking, communicating. I think it's gonna pick up a little bit. I think we had this past week was Christmas and New Year, so definitely some little delays there, but I think it's gonna pick up now. Now we're in the new year.
New year, new 2K. Let's see. I'm trying to think. Was there anything else, call out? Did you have anything to add?
No, man, great pod. I think it was very informative. I hope I'm not big people watching the bang, but put this put this politics.
You kind of breaking up a little bit.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Great podcast, very informative. I think you should go to Lotus and tell guys they really need to. I would say 20 minutes or so. Really, the whole podcast, but guess what was discussed as far as the topics, because it's going to be very essential to regular season and why you should play your games, how you can go into the playoffs, and also what as far as your players extend the offseason outlook. I would like for us to do something that I don't think we haven't done before. This only one time, but maybe we should consider doing a mock offseason, like in the offline, so they can see that. Because if you talk about free agency every year, you have a user. They try, but man, I tried to play, but it ain't work out. I hate that. It pisses me off every year because it is error every time. As flawed as 2K is, it is always you. So I would like to do a mock offseason specific for free agency to show these guys what you can and cannot do. Your money that you have available, it is a way you can see exactly how much money you have down to the T. Going into free agent, I will give my secret sauce. So niggas will not be out here making the same mistakes every year. And I signed him. You got $30 million. Try to re-sign your own player to $35 million. And then you try to sign another player for $15. Guess what? You're going to lose out on the player signed for $35 million. Because 30 plus 30, and you got 30 and 35. That's additional $5 million. The NBA, only how this game is set up, flawed. You're gonna have money agency in the more have a certain portion of the mid-level when you go into the actual free agency. Depends on how much money you spend in moratorium. If you go over that, you're gonna put out on the player. You're only gonna have that money. I got $20 million in this period, but all the good players gone. That's your damn fault. You should just sign them to a certain money and waited till the next year, and you had $9 million sign somebody else. It ain't hard. Just simple math. But we'll talk about that another day. I digress.
You heard it here first. Carlock said he willing to give his secret sauce to people that want to know more about the off season and how that's gonna work. I do think like a mock off season or something like that will be good, just to show users how it works. But yeah, I'm gonna make a Gord alert after this pod. Kind of highlighting some areas to listen to, because we talked about how the badges is gonna work with the playing your games. We talked about the potential. We talked about the extensions. We talked about the trades, the players available. Talked about the deadline. Talked about the playoff. We talked about a lot. So the scheduling. So overall, man, hope everybody's still enjoying the league. Always open to some feedback too. So if you got any questions, concerns, feedback, let us know. And we try to do our best, man, to make it a good league and a fun league for everybody. So I think that's it. Anything else before we end this junk? All right. Well, we done. Appreciate everybody joining up. We'll holla back.
Closing, I got one thing that's off.
Nigga, J-Rock said, yo, Cap, you said you need to say something on the pod, or are we done?